What's going on, guys? It's No just checking in. Today we're going to talk about needle sizes when it comes to drawing up testosterone and injecting it. I'm on testosterone replacement therapy. If you'd like to know why, read the description below. It's a novel, but it edifies me. So when it comes to needle sizes, there are only really a couple things you need to know. Again, I do inject testosterone cypionate, so in terms of the substance that you are injecting, I can only really refer to the fact that that's what I've done. Testosterone is a pretty viscous substance, the cypionate that I inject, meaning it's relatively thick. Choosing a needle size to draw and choosing a needle size to inject obviously are two very different things. A real quick tidbit when it comes to needle sizes are that they are measured in gauges, is what they call it. So the higher the gauge, the smaller the needle. The lower the gauge, the bigger the needle. Some people find that to be counterintuitive. It doesn't matter, just be mindful of that fact. So I would love for you, by the way, to share your experiences if they differ from mine, but here's what I like to do. I really prefer to engage, I prefer to draw my testosterone out of my 10 ml vial with an 18 gauge. I feel that the 18 gauge is perfect. It's so big that you don't have to put any air to create a pressure-like situation inside of your vial. You can literally just push it in. Of course, the needle is attached to your syringe. You push it in, you draw, it comes out like butter, baby. It comes out like perfect. Weird analogy, but you won't have any problems. I think it's beautiful. It works really well for me. You can use a 16 gauge. It might be a little bit overkill in terms of size. And if you're willing to wait a little bit longer, you can go up to a 23 gauge or something like that. But again, it'll just draw in much slower. Makes no sense. 18 gauge is perfect. It's just the right size. You wouldn't necessarily want to inject with an 18 gauge, which is not something I would recommend unless you're a glutton for punishment. All things relative. It's not that bad. I've done it. But I actually prefer to inject with a 23 gauge. I've not caught in flack, but I've had some people rebuttal this idea that you should use a 23 gauge, saying, oh, it's too small. Here's why I believe a 23 gauge is perfect. Now, mind you, I've injected with a 21 gauge, a 22, 23, even a 25. The 25 was ridiculous, but here's why I think the 23 is perfect. The 23, there are three things you have to think about when injecting testosterone, in my opinion. The three things that are most important to consider. One is puncture pain. There are nerve endings on the surface of your skin. The smaller the needle, or the higher the gauge, the less pain you're going to feel when you're injecting. 23 gauge, in my opinion, is the perfect combination of being just thick enough to get the job done, but small enough to where you essentially, unless you hit a nerve ending really dead on, you don't ever really feel the actual needle going in, which is great. Another quick little tidbit, or something to keep in mind when injecting, is that the medicine is going to sting. Based on the pH of that particular substance, whether it be more alkali or more acidic, it is going to sting. How fast you deliver that substance can make a difference, but for me, like I said, based on the pH of testosterone, I think the 23 is great. The other thing, and this is probably the biggest thing in my opinion, along with number one, is tissue expansion. So yes, you can use a lower gauge, which again is a bigger needle, and that's fine. And the testosterone will inject quicker. But when you inject that testosterone intramuscularly, I do 1 cc a week, it has to go somewhere. And if you just push it in instantaneously, really, really fast, your tissue is going to expand very, very fast as well. And that tissue expansion can be part of what hurts so bad, that along with the pH of the medicine or the substance, that can really hurt. So what I found is that the 23 gauge, it sort of regulates that for you. Based on the nature of the substance, plus the fact that you have to expand the tissue, you have to expand that muscle, that has to go somewhere. 23, you can't go that fast. I think it's just the right speed. It's a slow, steady combo of the two, and I really, really like it. I know a lot of guys that are really sold on the 21 gauge, 22, but again, that needle is bigger, and occasionally the puncture site can hurt more. So that's my spiel, that's my opinion. Please let me know in the comments below, do you guys agree? Do you disagree? Does this change based on the substance? If so, which substance are you using and why do you think it's better? But for me, drawing with an 18 and then injecting with a 23 is perfect, but I do think basically 22 is essentially the same thing. It keeps in mind all the big three, like I mentioned, the puncture pain, the pH of your substance, or the stinging nature of your substance, and of course the tissue expansion. 23 gauge works perfect for me. I'll see you guys in the next video. It's a really common question that I get. I'm gonna do an injection video soon. I've been getting a lot of requests for that, but I've been sort of lazy, for lack of better words, so I'll be sure to do a video literally showing what that would look like to draw up with my 18 gauge and what the injection would look like with the 23. I might even do a little series where I change the actual gauge of the needle for the injection to just give you my feedback specifically on each one and let you guys see it live. Thank you for watching. We'll do another video soon. I appreciate you. Yeah, good luck with your injecting.